magnetic trap. The radio died and the headlights went dim. The horizon is looking impossibly grim. There in the distance, cutting the night, a tower of black absorbing the light. No neon, no chrome, just an absolute void. A geometry left by a god destroyed. The engine is sputtering, losing its breath. A heavy sensation resembling death. It pulls me right in with an invisible hand. A silent colossus alone in the sand. Neon, monolith, shadow of space, staring right back in the human race. A structure of secrets, a pillar of doom, turning the desert into a mechanical tomb. Neon, monolith, humming a tune under the light of a paralyzed moon. I step from the vehicle, touching the stone, a frequency vibrating right through the bone. It isn't a building, it isn't a ship, it's a glitch in the matrix, a terrible trip. A sequence of symbols ignite on the face, coordinates pointing to a darker place. I realize now we were never alone. We are just dust on a cosmic throne. The engine is sputtering, losing its breath. A heavy sensation resembling death. It pulls me right in with an invisible hand. A silent colossus alone in the sand. Neon, monolith, shadow of space, staring right back in the human race. A structure of secrets, a pillar of doom, turning the desert into a mechanical tomb. Neon, monolith, humming a tune under the light of a paralyzed moon. It sees me. It knows me. The transmission begins. We are awake. Neon, monolith, shadow of space, staring right back in the human race. A structure of secrets, a pillar of doom, turning the desert into a mechanical tomb. Neon, monolith, humming a tune under the light of a paralyzed moon. The signal is sent. The monolith sleeps. Fade to black.
The world is flickering a shade of the green, the strangest distortion that I've ever seen. I see coast while I'm navigating the host after host. The scenery's warping, the sky is a glitch, stitching the reality stitch after stitch. I'm the pulse of the data, a streak of the blue, telling in the secrets that I thought I always knew. No more the distance, no more the time, committing a beautiful and technical crime. Gate 1, open, open. Gate 2, flash, dimension jumping, digital crash. Board now. Glitch gate runner, Xing out the space, winning every second in the electronic race. A jump to the left, a jump to the right, vanishing like static in the middle of the night. Glitch gate runner, breaking the code, master of the secret and the invisible road. Coordinates bypassed, system unstable, runner out.
The stars are witnesses to every mile I tread, following the promises and every word I said. A city is a gallery of neon and gray, chasing all the ghosts of a forgotten yesterday. My engine is a witness, my engine is the judge, holding on to glory and a long forgotten grudge. I see your lights ahead of me, a flicker in the rain, calculating justice for the pleasure and the pain. No more the hiding, no more the dark. I'm igniting history with a legendary spark. The red line is a boundary, the red line is the truth, the ultimate salvation for a long taste. The sirens start to glitch when I roll into the view. I'm a low resolution hazard coming straight for you. I ram the luxury cruisers, I smash the plastic doors, winning all the petty and the underground wars. My dashboard is a cemetery of the broken lights, the veteran of 1,000 and the dirty weekend fights. I am the raw reality, the logic of the fist, the only thing that's real in the holographic mist. Digital trash, physical crash, break the system for the cash. remains. Celestial.
Are you listening, Megacity? And a massive. We're rolling on the lower deck, the broadcast is alive. The only source of truth upon the cybernetic drive. The antenna is extending, punching through the dark. I'm sending out a frequency to ignite the spark. The corporate enforcement is trying to triangulate, but I'm crossing over borders and breaking every gate. A mobile radio station wrapped in heavy chrome, making sure the underground is never left alone. Turn up the receiver, lock onto the wave. This is the transmission that the outlaws crave. I'm shifting the coordinates, moving on the grid, broadcasting all the secrets that the syndicates have hid. Midnight megahertz, loud and in your ear. The only voice of freedom that the city wants to hear. We're riding on the amplitude, surfing on the sound, keeping all the rebels and the runners on the ground. Midnight megahertz, broadcasting the fight. We are the resistance in the middle of the night. They jam the primary signal, I switch to 33. They'll never put a muzzle on a vehicle that's free. I hit a heavy pothole, the turntable skips a beat, but the message keeps on flowing out to everybody's street. I see the interceptors flashing in the rearview pane. I cut across the alleyway and disappear again. A ghost of the frequency, a phantom on the dial. I'm keeping up the broadcast and doing it with style. Turn up the receiver, lock onto the wave. This is the transmission that the outlaws crave. I'm shifting the coordinates, moving on the grid, broadcasting all the secrets that the syndicates have hid. Midnight megahertz, loud and in your ear. The only voice of freedom that the city wants to hear. We're riding on the amplitude, surfing on the sound, keeping all the rebels and the runners on the ground. Midnight megahertz, broadcasting the fight. We are the resistance in the middle of the night. Do not surrender the dial. Keep the signal strong. We are the music. And we are the song. Transmitting maximum power. Midnight megahertz, loud and in your ear. The only voice of freedom that the city wants to hear. We're riding on the amplitude, surfing on the sound, keeping all the rebels and the runners on the ground. Midnight megahertz, broadcasting the fight. We are the resistance in the middle of the night. Signal clear. Keep running. Stay tuned.
I saw your taillights disappearing in the mist, with the name of vengeance written on my fist. You took away the sunlight, you took away the peace. Now I'm the predator that you can't release. I'm redlining the engine, I'm redlining the heart. I'm gonna tear your digital world apart. The let the nitrous flow. Everything is burning in the neon glow. I'm closing up the distance, I'm closing up the gap. There is no escape from the final hunter's trap. Velocity vendetta, screaming on the track. There is no mercy and there is no looking back. A bullet of the anger, a bullet of the steel. Calculating justice with a steering wheel. Velocity vendetta, catching up to you. The last thing you'll witness is a blur of neon blue. I ram the rear bumper, I hear the metal crack. The most violent rhythm on the cybernetic track. You try to swerve away, try to find a hiding place, but I can see the panic on your pixelated face. The bridge is straight ahead, the drop is deep and dark. I'm ready to ignite the final lethal spark. One flick of the steering, one moment of the truth, paying for the sins of your hollow wasted youth. Shift into the fifth, let the nitrous flow. Everything is burning in the neon glow. I'm closing up the distance, I'm closing up the gap. There is no escape from the final hunter's trap. Velocity vendetta, screaming on the track. There is no mercy and there is no looking back. A bullet of the anger, a bullet of the steel. Calculating justice with the steering wheel. Velocity vendetta, catching up to you. The last thing you'll witness is a blur of neon blue. Eye for an eye, gear for a gear. The hunter is here. Drown in your fear. Crash. Debt is paid. Leaving the wreckage. Vendetta.
Climbing through the towers to the summit of the sky, watching all the shadows of the world just pass me by. The atmosphere is electric, the air is getting thin. The only kind of battle that I'm ever gonna win. I hit the silver button, I feel the system surge, waiting for the spirit and the machinery to merge. My vision is a rainbow, my vision is a flare. Smell of the excitement in the midnight air. Overload the senses, let the plasma start to flow. Watching as the energy begins to melt and glow. I'm a horizontal rocket, I'm a bullet in the wire, fulfilling the prophecy of the electric desire. Electric zenith, reaching for the top. Once I hit the limit, I am never gonna stop. A symphony of photons, a symphony of speed, fulfilling every animal and every human need. Electric zenith, shatter the divide, with the entire galaxy standing
in the choir, breathing in the fumes, ready for the fire. Dashboard is authentic, analog and pure, looking for the danger, looking for the cure. Clutches on the floor, RPM is high, tension in the air, cutting through the sky, checking every system, locking up the soul, initiating now the ignition protocol. Hold the line, wait for the command, the greatest intersection in the neon wasteland. Hear the pistons knocking, eager for the flight, burning up the clutch in the middle of the night. Ignition protocol, counting down the time, ready for the glory, ready for the crime. Looking at the rival in the mirror to the right, he is just a rookie blinded by the light. I have got the wisdom downloaded in the brain, I have got the ice water running in my vein. The telemetry is perfect, the sequence is complete, I can feel the vibration rising from the street. A momentary silence before the world explodes, the undisputed king of the cybernetic rose. Clutches on the floor, RPM is high, tension in the air, cutting through the sky, checking every system, locking up the soul, initiating now the ignition protocol. Hold the line, wait for the command, the greatest intersection in the neon wasteland. Hear the pistons knocking, eager for the flight, burning up the clutch in the middle of the night. Ignition protocol, counting down the time, ready for the glory, ready for the crime. The amber light is flashing, the final breath is drawn, the old world is dying, and the new one is born. Go! Hold the line, wait for the command, the greatest intersection in the neon wasteland. Hear the pistons knocking, eager for the flight, burning up the clutch in the middle of the night. Ignition protocol, counting down the time, ready for the glory, ready for the crime. Tires scream, leaving the grid. Protocol complete.
Watching all the ghosts
neon city pass. The cassette tape is turning, a melody of gold. The greatest of the stories that were never being told. We're driving through the memory, we're driving through the time, committed once again a beautiful and rhythmic crime. No more the destination, just the feeling of the flow. Watching as the energy begins to melt and glow. The dashboard is a sanctuary, the dashboard is a prayer. Smell of the nostalgia in the midnight air. Neon nostalgia washing over the soul, losing the direction and losing all control. A symphony of shadows, a symphony of light, under the canopy of the infinite night. Neon nostalgia, the spirit of the free, the only way for races to become what we can be. The sky is violet velvet, the stars are made of chrome. The entire highway is my only kind of home. I drift around the corners of a long forgotten dream, riding on the ripples of a light-powered stream. I don't need the future, I don't need the new, just the classic vibration that leads me back to you. Where the veterans of color, the masters of the haze, finding our salvation in the neon-colored maze. Hold the feeling, keep the fire, the ultimate answer to the old desire. Remember the memories remain, the drive goes on. Nostalgia. The battery is dropping to the final one, watching the descent of the artificial sun. The copper in the wiring is starting to fray, washing all the energy of the life away. I pull to the shoulder, I let the engine rest, with the heavy sadness in my cybernetic chest. We've driven a million miles through the neon and the rain, sharing all the glory and sharing all the pain. The dashboard is flickering and dying
staying here where the heavy winds blow. I touch the cold leather, I touch the steering wheel, remembering the magic of the things we used to feel. You were more than metal, you were more than code, my only true companion on the long and lonely road. Now the screen goes dark and the power starts to sleep. A promise to the memory is the only thing I keep. The dashboard is flickering a dying shade of blue, telling me the stories that I thought I always knew. The cooling fans are silent, the motherboard is still, surrendering at last to the architect's will. The electric afterglow fading in the light, saying our goodbyes to the coming of the night. A beautiful machine with a weary, tired soul, losing the direction and losing the control. The electric afterglow, a ghost in the chrome, finding in the twilight a final way back home. Fading away, system shut down. In the silence, we are found. Good night, my friend. Until we meet in the cold afterglow.
Tactical armor and a heart of lead, driving through the city where the rumors spread. Cobalt plating on the doors and the glass, watching all the petty little rebels pass. I got a payload locked inside the steel. I am the only master of the heavy wheel. Radio silence on the encrypted line, making sure the victory is officially mine. Scan the perimeter, check the infrared glow. I'm moving in the places where the weak won't go. Thermal vision painting every shadow in the red, counting all the enemies and counting all the dead. Cobalt Commando ruling the street, matching every movement to the combat beat. A fortress on the highway, a mountain of the might, striking like a hammer in the middle of the night. Cobalt Commando, armor and soul, taking the objective and taking the control. The ambush is waiting at the sector 4, but I'm bringing thunder to the bunker door. Hydraulic suspension taking every hit. I'm the only driver with the tactical wit. I deploy the smoke screen of violet haze, leading them to ruin in a metal maze. One final boost through the barricade of fire, fulfilling the mission and the corporate desire. Engage the thrusters, lock the gears. The road is a battlefield. Drown out the fear, strike hard. secured. Returning to base. Commando out. The iron wheel. The sleek and shiny cruisers try to overtake the beast, but I'll turn their plastic bodies into a mechanical feast. I vent the superheated gas directly in their path. They can't handle the pressure of the Victorian wrath. I'm a stoker of the neon, a master of the heat, pounding out a rhythm on the industrial street. The clockwork is ticking, the battery is full. I'm winning every battle in the gravitational pull. Crank the pressure higher, let the rivets start to pop. When the plasma starts to boil, there is no way to stop a Victorian nightmare in a silicon world. Watching as the future is mechanically unfurled. Plasma punk, roaring in the gear, the only kind of engine that the mega city fears. Steam and electricity, fire in the wire, burning up the asphalt with a heavy dark desire. Plasma punk, a monster made of steel. The power of 1,000 suns beneath the iron wheel. Stoke the fire, turn the wheel. Cold copper, hot steel, vent the core. Plasma punk, roaring in the gear, the only kind of engine that the mega city fears. Steam and electricity, fire in the wire, burning up the asphalt with a heavy dark desire. Plasma punk, a monster made of steel. The power of 1,000 suns beneath the iron wheel. Steam settling, gears locking, power down.
city on the fire. The interceptor scattered, chasing nothing but mist. A digital anomaly that simply can't exist. I drift through the alley, I slide through the gate. A master of the optics and a master of fate. The neon is flickering the shade of the blue, but you'll never witness what I'm going to do. I'm the whisper in the engine, the chill in the air, the only kind of ghost that is ever really there. The signal, I am the ghost, the guest in the machine, and the perfect home. Catch the post. The city on the fire. Signal lost, nowhere found. Watch the entire galaxy begin to melt and glow. I'm a needle of silver in a fabric of blue, following the patterns that the architects knew. Align the vectors, align the stream, floating on the logic of a digital dream. 100% of the efficiency and grace, winning every battle in the cybernetic race. Synchro streamer, cutting through the code. A master of the movement on the invisible road. Tangled in the rhythm, tangled in the light. A beautiful machine in the middle of the night. Synchro streamer, the spirit of the pure. Speed is the solution and the speed is the cure. The world is a river of a liquid gold, the greatest of the stories that was ever being told. I navigate the pulses, I navigate the time, committing every technical and beautiful crime. My vision is steady, my vision is bright, a horizontal comet in the middle of night. No more the resistance, no more the delay, washing all the shadows of the old world away. Pulse in the wire, fire in the soul, one with the circuit, in total control, synchronized.
I drop the heavy baggage and I drop the fear. The engine's roaring like a lion in the dark. I'm fueling up the pistons with a vintage spark. The atmosphere is thinning as we climb the hill. The entire human race is incredibly still. I look up through the windshield at the cosmic sea, a beautiful dimension meant exclusively for me. The gravity is losing its heavy iron grip. I'm perfectly committed to this analog trip. Speedometer needle is touching the red. I'm leaving behind everything that they said. I'm chasing the night sky, wild and free. A beautiful drop in the digital sea. Chasing the night sky into the blue. A high-speed journey looking out for you. Let the concrete towers fade into the dust. I'm riding on a highway of analog trust. The synthesizer plays a triumphant fast hook. I'm ripping the pages from the cynical book. The constellations guide me like a silver map, escaping the borders of the modern trap. I'm shifting the gears and I'm pushing the line. Everything is looking incredibly fine. A vintage escape in a metal machine, the most absolute freedom that I've ever seen. Let the interceptors try to track my sudden flight. I'm a ghost completely hidden in the velvet night. A masterpiece running on adrenaline and fire, taking the analog spirit much higher. I'm chasing the night sky, wild and free. A beautiful drop in the digital sea. Chasing the night sky into the blue. High-speed journey looking out for you. Let the concrete towers fade into the dust. I'm riding on a highway of analog trust. Chasing the sky, pushing the speed. Chasing the sky, the only thing I need. 250, the count is finally done. The greatest of the battles that we finally won.
From the early shadows to the golden neon light, we mastered every rhythm of the infinite night.
The asphalt is a kingdom,
The dashboard is a throne.
in the purity of speed.
We are never truly alone.
A billion miles of glory,
Billion miles of fire.
the ultimate conclusion of the electric desire.
The energy is peaking, the energy is high. Under the orbit of the artificial sky, the air, but I got twin exhaust and a spirit for the dare. We're parallel in motion, eye to eye with glass. I drop it in the final gear, I'm ready to bypass. The city is a canyon of glass and neon blue. It's just me and the machine and nothing else is true. The vibration is an earthquake shaking up the street. Two different kinds of engines matching up the beat. Terminal velocity, breaking through the wall. I'm answering the challenge, I'm answering the call. Racing with the bullet, a phantom in the slip. I'm riding on the edge of the cybernetic trip. Terminal velocity, untouchable and free. The king of all the concrete, the ruler of the sea. The tunnel is approaching, a cavern of the night. We swallow up the darkness, we generate the light. I hear the magnetic hum, a frequency so deep, but I got wild horsepower that never goes to sleep. Inching out ahead, an inch becomes a mile. I look into the mirror and give the train a smile. The city is a canyon of glass and neon blue. It's just me and the machine, nothing else is true. The vibration is an earthquake shaking up the street. Two different kinds of engines matching up the beat. Terminal velocity, breaking through the wall. I'm answering the challenge, secret underground road. The pilot hits the alarm, the sirens start to wail, but I already hacked the ship and sealed the heavy seal. I kick the throttle open, I launch off the side, a parachute of neon on a beautiful ride. I hit the edge of the ramp, I launch into the black. There is absolutely no way of ever turning back. I'm flying through the air, aiming for the open bay. I'm taking all the cargo and I'm making them pay. Holographic hijack striking from below, a bullet of the neon putting on a fatal show. I land upon the metal deck, weapons fully drawn. I'll empty out the vault before the breaking of the dawn. Holographic hijack, a demon in the sky. I'm stealing all the treasure, and I'm watching them cry. Free falling, cargo secure. Deploy the chute. Ghost operator. Holographic hijack striking from below, a bullet of the neon putting on a fatal show. I land upon the metal deck, weapons fully drawn. I'll empty out the vault before the breaking of the dawn. Holographic hijack, a demon in the sky. I'm stealing all the treasure, and I'm watching them cry. Touching down, clean getaway, hijack complete.
Before the neon rivers, before the data streams, we drove in the analog, a world of rusted dreams. But I held the blueprint for a cybernetic heart, a brand new evolution, a brand new place to start. I wired up the circuitry into the V8 block and sync the transmission with the universal clock. The first spark of the plasma igniting in the night, a technological baptism of the ultraviolet light. The engine gave a heavy roar, a frequency so new. The concrete turned to polymer, the sky a digital blue. The very first acceleration breaking out the mold, the greatest Genesis story that could ever be told. Neon Genesis drive, building up the grid, the origin of everything, exactly what we did. Paving down the future with the rubber and the wire, lighting up the darkness with a synthetic fire. Neon Genesis drive, the father of the road, writing down the history inside the mother code. The skyscraper started rising everywhere I passed. A city made of miracles, a city made of glass. I laid down the highway, a ribbon of the chrome, creating a dystopia that we can call our home. The followers came after with the lasers and the speed, but I was the original who planted out the seed. A solitary pioneer exploring in inside the mother code. Drive, building up the grid, the origin of everything, exactly what we did. Paving down the future with the rubber and the wire, lighting up the darkness with a synthetic fire. Neon Genesis Drive, the father of the road, writing down the history inside the mother code. Genesis complete. We're trying to save. Synchronized rhythm in the heart of a gear. Everything is perfect and everything is clear. We merge with the signal, we merge with the flow. Watch the entire galaxy begin to melt and glow. Align the vectors, align the dream, floating on the logic of a digital stream. 100% of the efficiency and grace, winning every battle in the electronic race. Night Stream Navigator, cutting through the code, a master of the movement on the invisible road. Tangled in the rhythm, tangled in the light, a beautiful machine in the middle of the night. Night Stream Navigator, the spirit of the pure. Speed is the solution and the speed is the cure. Connection locked, the stream remains. Navigator.
peak of the perfection, the peak of the design, crossing every border and erasing every line. Platinum ripples on the surface of the road, carrying the glory and the heavy metal load. I'm a horizontal diamond, a bullet in the wire, setting all the logic of the system on the fire. Pure platinum, rhythmic and clean, the most beautiful vision that you've ever seen. Moving with the grace through the neon and the dark, leaving behind a sophisticated spark. Pure platinum, the spirit of the pure. Speed is the addiction and the speed is the cure. The interceptors scatter when they see the silver glare. They can't find a target when the target isn't there. I drift around the sectors, I glide across the glass, watching all the atoms of the universe pass. No limits on the rubber, no limits on the soul, taking the trajectory and taking the control. I am the final signal, I am the final flash, heading for the future in a beautiful crash. Silk and steel, how I feel. Everything is real underneath the wheel. Shine bright. Polished to perfection. Velocity locked. Platinum.
Song where the weak fall behind and the heavy belong. Lock the intake, let the fire begin to flow. Watch the entire city start to melt and to glow. Titanium turbo burning through the grid. Proud of every dangerous thing that I did. A high pressure anthem, a high pressure drive. The only way for the machine to feel alive. Titanium turbo, breaking every seal. The absolute power of the heavy metal feel. The friction is a joke, the gravity is gone. I'm a horizontal rocket and I'm keeping it on. My exhaust is a dragon breathing purple and blue. A mechanical hazard coming straight after you. I drift through the sectors, I shatter the glass, watching all the atoms of the universe pass. No limit on the gauge, no limit on the soul. Losing the perspective and losing control. Spool up the power.
artificial sun has finally burned its light, surrendering the city to the longest, deepest night. The maintenance is active on the solar panel dome, giving a quiet moment to the spirits in the home. The cooling fans are slowing, the skyscrapers are dim. We're floating on the water of the planetary rim. I park beside the overlook, I turn the engine off, listening to the silence and the heavy city's cough. The neon signs are resting, the data streams are still. A momentary balance of the architect's will. No sirens in the distance, no racing on the street, just the soft vibration of the motherboard's beat. Silicon solstice, the longest of nights, watching the flickering of the lonely blue lights. The city's dreaming, the city is still surrendering now to the architect's will. Silicon solstice, a winter of the soul, losing the frequency and losing the control. I see the real stars through the cracks inside the glass, watching the ancient constellations slowly pass. We spent so many decades living in the glare, we forgot the beauty of the quiet and the prayer. The dashboard is a memory of a violet glow. Everything is moving steady and so slow. The motherboard is breathing a heavy electronic sigh. Underneath
lasers, the throne is made of chrome. The entire universe is finally our home.
We've conquered the darkness, we've conquered the fear. The moment of the absolute is finally here.
The grid is our kingdom, the grid is our soul, taking the direction and taking the control.
A billion processors are chanting our name. Nothing in the history will ever be the same.
The power is rising, a river of pure.
Speed is the gospel and speed is the cure.
Kneel at the altar of the motor and light.
In the holy cathedral of the endless night.
Neon omnipotence ruling the all.
Watching every empire of the whole world fall.
A god of the circuit, a god of the wire.
Burning with a cold and a celestial fire.
Neon omnipotence,
The spirit of pure.
the only salvation and the only cure. I look at the horizon, a sea of the gold, the greatest of the stories that was ever being told.
We ride on the photons, we ride on the stars, healing every memory and healing every scar.
The circuit is infinite, the glory is real.
Calculating justice with the steering wheel.
We are the architects of a brand new day.
Washing all the vanity and sorrow away.
All hail the light.
All hail the speed.
The ultimate answer.
To every need.
We are omnipotent. Neon omnipotence ruling the all.
Watching every empire of the old world fall.
A god of the circuit, a god of the wire.
Burning with a cold and a celestial fire. Neon omnipotence, the spirit of pure.
The only salvation and the only cure.
Volume 4 complete.
The light remains.
Omnipotence.
The world is automated, driven by the wires. 1,000 robot taxis and 1,000,000 electric tires. They say the human error is a thing of the past, but I'm the only rebel who was built to really last. I've got a manual never touch. I smell the burning gasoline, I feel the engine shake. A beautiful vibration that the batteries can't make. They track me on the satellite, they track me on the grid, trying to erase the classic things the ancestors did. But I'm the ghost to be tried, I'm the spirit of the steel, the only man alive who knows exactly how to feel. The last analog soul, shifting through the night, finding the direction without a guiding light. A dinosaur of horsepower, a king of the exhaust.
longest night is ending, the shadows start to fade. I'm looking at the beauty of the world the makers made. The artificial solar panels booting up the sky, a gradient of pastel colors washing in my eye. I park upon the cliffside, the engine settling down, watching the awakening of the cybernetic town. The violence and the racing belong to yesterday. A quiet wave of peace is finally coming round my way. The neon signs are dimming, yielding to the light. A golden restoration after such a heavy fight. I take a human breath and open up the door. I don't need to push the heavy pedal anymore. Synthetic sunrise, glowing on the grid, forgiving every mistake and the crazy things I did. A canopy of yellow, a canopy of peach. The ultimate salvation is finally in my reach. Synthetic sunrise, warming up the steel. A beautiful tomorrow is becoming something real. The data streams are quiet, the frequencies are still. A momentary paradise upon the morning hill. I look at the horizon, a perfect straight line. The geometry of nature and the digital combine. The vehicle is resting, a loyal silver friend. We drove across the continent to finally reach the end. The tears upon my face are reflecting the new day. The shadows of the underworld are burning all away. The neon signs are dimming, yielding to the light. A golden restoration after such a heavy fight. I take a human breath and open up the door. I don't need to push the heavy pedal anymore. Synthetic sunrise, glowing on the grid. protects the will.
The asphalt is glowing, a ribbon of the gold.
The greatest of the stories that was ever being told.
One hand on the steering,
One hand on the soul, taking the direction and taking the control.
the energy is peaking
The energy is high.
under the orbit of the artificial sky,
We are the veterans, the knights of the fire.
fulfilling the prophecy of the electric desire. The platinum pulse beating in the chrome, finding in the highway a spiritual home.
Symphony of photons,
The symphony is speed.
fulfilling every animal and every human need.
The platinum pulse, the spirit of the one, underneath the shadow of the artificial sun. Hold the wheel,
Feel the pride.
240th mile.
It's the ultimate ride.
We are eternal.
The pulse remains, legacy achieved.
The towers were silent, the streets were all black, waiting for the spirit to finally come back. A surge in the system, a spark in the vein, washing away all the darkness and pain. I turn the ignition, I feel the new force, changing the pattern and changing the course. The city is breathing, the city is bright, waking up hungry for the power and light. The cables are screaming, the voltage is high, painting a rainbow across the dark sky. I'm rising from ashes, I'm rising from dust. In the new energy, I place all my trust. Neon rebirth, the awakening drive, feeling the rhythm and feeling alive. A cycle of glory, a cycle of flame. Nothing will ever be exactly the same. Neon rebirth, the signal is strong, riding the light where we truly belong. The chrome is reflecting a beautiful dawn. Every old shadow is finally gone. I'm redlining beauty, I'm redlining soul, taking the future and taking control. The circuit is open, the pathway is clear, drowning the memory of the winter and fear. I'm the first racer on the resurrected track, and I'm never, ever, ever looking back.
the gold, the greatest of the stories that a human ever told. I'm chasing down the sunset, I'm chasing down the end, where the silence is a lover and the silence is a friend. I don't have a destination, I don't have a home, just a spirit made of carbon and a body made of chrome. The odometer is spinning, returning back to zero. The same old tragedy and the same old hero. The line is always moving just a mile or two away, at the beautiful conclusion of a digital day. I'm reaching for the distance, I'm reaching for the soul, losing the direction and losing all control. The horizon hunter, never looking back, a streak of the shadow on an infinite track. From the dusk until the dawn, and the dawn until the night, we're keeping up the speed and we're keeping up the light. The horizon hunter, the ultimate test, a heart that is beating and refusing to rest. The stars are my witnesses, the moon is my guide, with nowhere left to linger and with nowhere left to hide. Just the hum of the motor and the wind inside the glass, watching all the eyes